Yo, what's up, people? Welcome to this third and final episode of the Spyderco catalog walkthrough. In the first episode, we talked about the Seki City made stuff. In the second episode, we talked about the USA made stuff and the Salt series. A little bit more steel heavy in the second episode. And in this episode, we're gonna talk about the specialty part of the Spyderco catalog, which is most of the Taiwanese stuff, a little bit of the USA made stuff still mixed in there with the tactical knives, and also the Chinese made stuff, and then the fixed blades in the end. So this is the last episode of the Spyderco catalog walkthrough, and I will try to talk a little bit quicker about most of these knives because otherwise we can't fit this in about a half an hour episode. Spyderco has so many knives, it would take me another hour or 2 hours to talk about every single knife in detail. So forgive me if I speed through this a little bit more than I did in the last two episodes. Yeah, so on the first page we have the Spyderco Swayback, and which is basically all knives on this page are Taiwanese made. The Spyderco Swayback and the Techno Tool are designed by Martin Sleesh, the same designer who made the Spidey Chef and the Sleesh Bowie. The Sleesh Bowie I think is still the most popular, or maybe even it is the Spidey Chef because it's still available. But the Sleesh Bowie is the one that everybody wants. Maybe it's because it's discontinued, I don't know. But yeah, same designer. I think he's a Polish knife maker. And in case of the Swayback, it's the same as his custom, just with the Spyderco logo and a little bit different of a pocket clip, for instance. 3D contoured titanium handle scales. It's only possible to open this knife from the right side, so not a good left-handed knife, I guess, even though it has the pocket clip cutouts on the left side as well. Really nice, thinly hollow ground CTS XHP blade. I don't think we talked about CTS XHP on these episodes yet. Well, CTS XHP is a steel that I have quite a bit of experience with. It's really highly corrosion resistant. At the same time, it's not the most stable at the edge, and it also doesn't take the cleanest edge. But what CTS XHP gives you is an amazing amount of times you can actually restrop it. So before you have to resharpen it, which is great. It has just crazy restropping capability. I love XHP for that. Like I said, it doesn't have the advantage of taking the cleanest edge if you have to resharpen it, but it takes such a long time before you actually have to resharpen it if you constantly put it on leather. I think it's just a great user steel, especially for a wider audience. XHP is good stuff. Now, really nice size to weight ratio on this one as well. Just look at the weight and the size here. For a full titanium handled knife, yeah, that's pretty good. Probably because they take so much material out of that blade by hollow grinding it. Also makes it really thin, nice long swedge, so it gives you a really precise tip. I guess the blade is a little bit, you either like it or you don't, because it's a Wharncliffe. Really good draw at the draw cutting, but at the same time it's not such a universal blade shape like this one, for instance. I have the Swayback personally, and I almost never use it because of that, because it's only really good at the draw cut. But quality-wise, it's an extremely well-built knife. So if you like Wharncliffes, yeah, this might be for you. But if you want a do-it-all knife, this is probably not for you, I guess. Also not the most inexpensive Spyderco as well, but yeah, very, very high build quality on this one. Same as on the Techno Tool. Techno feels like it has been around forever, probably because of its first version. I do like the Techno Tool better visually wise. I think it still has the green standoffs, if I'm not mistaken. Can't really see that in this picture, but yeah. Saber ground in this case. It's kind of a tiny little chunky knife, but very well built knife. Yeah, if you like the small knives, this one is probably one of the better built ones in terms of production knives. Yeah, like I said, same designer. Oh yeah, the one thing I forgot to mention, the Techno Tool, like every other Martin Sleesh Spyderco, has the wire pocket clip. and the swayback has the standard-ish looking pocket clip, but is raised in this section here a little bit higher. It's kind of weird looking and weird feeling if you carry it. I don't know why they just didn't use the wire pocket clip like on all the other Martin Fleech designs, but yeah, that's how it is. And yeah, steel inlays on both of these guys that are hidden from the inside, so you can't tell by the outside, but yeah, they have steel inlays. The next knife is a really solid one. It's the Spyderco Bradley Folder 2. I'll show you how the Bradley 1 looked in a second. So yeah, here you can see the Spyderco Gale Bradley 1. A little bit of a different handle design. Kind of looks a little bit weirdish in the handle and almost has that 4-finger choil in the front and a little bit more drop to that tip in the front. But yeah, this was the first version and this is the second version. Has been around for a long time by now. Designed by Gale Bradley. Really a no-nonsense blade design, like a super ergonomic handle that doesn't force you in a position. A little bit boxy maybe because of the flat scales, and not the prettiest carbon fiber. I wish they would just use plain boring G10, but yeah, maybe it's just me because I don't like carbon fiber that much. And unlike the first version, we don't have that choil, which is also good because it gives you actually the blade length that they say it has, so it doesn't waste any space by adding a choil on the blade. Hollow ground M4, CPM M4 blades. M4 is one of those steels that's in the same spectrum as 4V and Kruger, so it's not a stainless steel, but it's super tough and has a really crazy amount of edge retention. So a very well balanced steel actually. I guess it's not balanced in terms of being stainless, but it's balanced in all the other aspects that a steel can have. So yeah, nice size, really no nonsense blade design on this one. Yeah, so if you would make a list of really boring but good folding knife designs that are one-handed openers, this would be on the same list than, like, let's say Chris Reeves Benz or something like this. Yeah, so really solid knife. The next one is the Ballatin. The Ballatin has been discontinued at some point. They reintroduced it, but not this year. I don't know how many years ago, but at some point they have reintroduced it. And yeah, it's designed by Ballatin, who is also the inventor of putting the stop pin on the outside of a knife. So it gives you, it eliminates side-to-side blade play pretty well. You can see that on a Microtech SOCOM, for instance, as well. The stop pins on the outside, pretty good. But it also has the thumb hole, the Spyderco thumb hole, obviously. Also a hollow ground CPM S30B blade, and kind of a hybrid tanto. So this is the hollow grind section, and then we have a flat ground part in the front, but no secondary tip. This is a continuous curved cutting edge. I guess it's not curved in the back here. It's pretty straight, but yeah, you know what I mean. Pretty thick on the spine, 4mm, so super stout tip. And then you have your slicing blade back here. I'm excited for this knife, honestly. I never bought it because it's very expensive. Nice 3D contour G10 handle scales and then these bolsters. I think this is basically like a mixture between a gentleman knife and kind of a tactical stout overbuilt knife. And yeah, I just like it visually. There is a small version of this as well. Actually, there isn't a small version anymore, but there used to be one. This one is the small version right here. Just out of curiosity, I pulled it up, but yeah. This is the only version that's available still. I think same price range than the Swaybags and the 300-ish euro price range. So quite a little bit more expensive. The Gale Bradley 2 is not as expensive, and the Techno Tool as well. But yeah. So then we have the Spyderco Rock and the Subvert. These are kind of Spyderco going a little bit crazy, but not too crazy. They have done some much more weirder stuff. This is a little bit more settled, I guess. Really nice cleaver blade shape on this one. Serge Panchenko design, VG10 blade, Japanese build, G10 handle scales. Yeah, just a nice solid knife. I would actually like to try out both of these, but I would never buy them myself because I don't know. I wouldn't want to spend the money on these knives. But yeah, it would be interesting to carry one of them or both of them at some point. The Subvert is kind of looks kind of like a hard use or hunting style folding knife. Interesting handle design, and then a really interesting blade design with this big recurve, nice belly, stout tip, 4mm blade stock, CPM S30B. I don't know why they went with S30B. Maybe because they wanted to push this as a hunting knife because of the edge retention. But I think something a little bit more stouter, a little bit more capable at the edge would have done well with this blade shape, because it's kind of a hard use knife. I don't know, maybe CPM 3B or something like that would be a good choice. So yeah, the Subvert, interesting knife design, also not the most inexpensive. Then we have the Yojimbo and Yojimbo family. These are all Michael Yannick designs, except this one. I'm gonna talk about this one in just a second. And yeah, the Yojimbo is basically more of an EDC friendly knife design, even though it's meant to be a tactical knife. But it's really a good utility knife as well, like a high-end utility knife that just cuts things. And yeah, it's pretty good at that. Hollow ground blade, still S30V on these guys. Like I said, we don't know how long Spyderco is gonna keep the S30V in the lineup until they will change it completely. But yeah, at this point they are still in S30V. And the Yojimbo is not just a bigger version of the Yojimbo, it's a little bit, the grind is a little bit lower and not as slicey as on the Yojimbo. And so this is basically your more tactical and more hard use Wharncliffe. And this one is a little bit more fragile and a little bit more slicier. So yeah, you can't have both. Oh yeah, the handle design is a little bit more neutral on the Yojimbo. The Yojimbo kind of forces you into precision, so it puts you in a saber grip with your thumb up here. Very secure for a tactical knife. Super aggressive G10. This one kind of has normal coarseness G10, but this one is super aggressive. Sort of like Cold Steel did in the past with the Recons, which they don't do it anymore, but they used to do it really aggressively. Yeah, S30V on these guys as well. And then we have a Jimbo Trainer. No Jimbo Trainer yet. Maybe we'll see that as well in the future. I don't really care, honestly. Yeah. Show you the specs real quick on the Jimbo. It's a full 4-inch blade, so 10 centimeters, 150 grams, 5.3 ounces. Yeah, it's okay weight for the size, honestly. It doesn't feel overly heavy, and it's well balanced towards the blade. Actually, in this section more, like it's not too blade heavy. It's actually quite nicely balanced. So yeah. And we have the Spyderco Cocainus. Obviously, is a little bit of a similarity between the Canis and the Jumbo. The Canis has a much more neutral grip. This one really, with this hump in the middle, really puts you in a position, holds you there. This one allows you to be a little bit more, to put your hand in any position you want it to. So, and also has a compression lock, and then a really low hollow ground blade as well. So this one is not as slicey, but it's yeah. It's intended to be a tactical knife, so sliciness is not the priority here, I guess. And again, Spyderco's carbon fiber, which, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of. Some people are though, so yeah, everybody's different, I guess. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot to mention that the Spyderco Yojimbo also has a sprint run this year, which is going to be the Yojimbo in S90V and carbon fiber. So yeah, for the collectors, I guess. As a user, honestly, S90V and... Did I say S90V or S30V before? I don't know. But this one, the Sprint one has S90V and the normal version has S30V. S90V and carbon fiber for your Jumbo that doesn't have a really high hollow ground blade, which is more of a... It's more of a hard use knife, honestly. I would still prefer S30V over S90V in a knife like this, so... Yeah, I wouldn't pay the extra money to get the sprint run, honestly. It's really not worth it. If you want a slicer, your Jimbo is better. And if you want a hard user, your Jumbo. And you don't need S90V for a hard use knife. And carbon fiber as well. So, yeah. I don't really see the sprint run, honestly, doesn't really make sense to me. Yeah, that's just my opinion, though. Yeah, on next page we have the Spyderco Pikal and the Kerahawk. So, again, tactical knives. Pikal is interesting because it has this little bar inserted in the blade, and it's like I guess it's like an Emerson wave opener, and has the ball bearing lock like on the Manix, and also S40B blade. Yeah, so this is meant to be held in a reverse grip, but the edge inward, I guess, because it's a Pikal style knife. Usually Pikal style knives are held with the edge facing you. Very effective knives in regards of self-defense, but yeah. Spyderco Kerahawk is one of my least favorite karambit designs. I don't know what I don't like about it. Maybe it's just a short little blade. It has the Emerson wave feature. It has a sturdy backlog. I guess there's nothing wrong with it per se. I just think there are cooler karambits on the market, honestly, and also more affordable karambits as well. So yeah. So the Spyderco Autonomy, I think the Autonomy looks super cool. There's Autonomy 1 and Autonomy 2. The Autonomy 2 has a more versatile blade shape, I guess, and a more neutral handle. So secure in the back, secure in the front. And the Autonomy 1 forces you in a position. And yeah, these are super rare, especially in Europe here. You can't ever find them. So they're kind of Spyderco unicorns, I guess. I do really like the blade shape on the Autonomy 1 with the serrated sheepsfoot blade. For some reason, it's really satisfying to look at, and it's also hollow ground. And the Autonomy has the oversized button in the safety. Oversized button for people that wear thick gloves like firefighters. And yeah, this version is the same, I guess, as this one, but without the safety. Hollow ground H1 steel blades, so highly corrosion resistant. And then the Autonomy 2 has LC200N, which is the superior steel, I would say, in terms of edge retention and yeah, to H1. And we have the Spyderco Yanni song, also designed by Michael Yannick, who designed the Yojimbo and Yojumbo. Pretty interesting knife. This one has been in the Spyderco catalog forever. Never really paid attention to this. I just show you this clip from Cutlery Lover real quick so we can see how this works. So you basically pull back this tab, and then we have this bar right here that goes around the knife and has another bar on the other side. So it basically protects you from cutting yourself at all times, which is not something you have with a normal Balisong. I think he shows it one more time. Nope. Where is it? So yeah, you can also has a safety apparently. Not the most beautiful blade shape design or overall design. Looks a little bit boxy in the hand, but pretty cool how it works with the bar that goes around the blade. Pretty cool. That's yeah, I guess it's innovative, but not the most prettiest knife. Yeah, you can watch the whole video from Cutlery Lover if you want to. He has pretty informative videos on his channel, and he's around for a really long time, I think, as well. Yeah, Spyderco Small Fly. I first believed that this one was new, but it's not. The Spyderco Small Fly has been around for a while. It's kind of a short little Balisong with a Spyderco blade. Really no nonsense, really subtle blade shape. Most Balisongs are a little bit more crazy. This one is not. And also Spyderco's Balisong used to be a little bit more crazy. I'll show you some of the older Spyderco Balisongs, which was the Spiderfly, for instance. And then they also had the Sabofly, which is by a designer that has done a couple of designs for Spyderco. Yeah, I think his name is spelled Lassie Sabo or something like that. He always has this really interesting blade shape. Yeah, and this one. So these two guys were the old Spyderco Balisongs. They don't make them anymore, and this one is the only one that they still have, I guess. And it's kind of interesting, nice looking Balisong. A little bit small for comparison to most Balisongs, I guess, though. Yeah, on this page we could divide this in half and say on the right side we have the slicier, thinner, more manly knives, and then on the left side we have the blend between gentleman knife and work knife. These are a little bit more stouter and also a little bit bigger. especially the amalgam. The amalgam is a Brian Lai design, super nice design. Has those animal characteristics, looks like a shark. Nice finger choil on the blade. I think it's full 4 inches in the blade length, almost 4 inches. Really nice weight to size ratio on this guy. Compression lock, flipper, and I don't think it runs on bearings. Does it? I don't think so. It probably runs on washers. Let's see. They don't say so, so it's probably on washers. But yeah, really nice design. Never got around to check this out. I really would like to though, because I really love the design. Same as on the Smog. The only thing I don't like about these two guys, or on all of these guys actually, is again the carbon fiber. I don't, not the biggest fan of Spyderco's carbon fiber or carbon fiber in general, but I think Flightanium already makes G10 handle scales for these, and a couple of other knife makers or scale makers make scales for the Smog. Smog has a button lock and has this really nice sheep's foot blade, so very utilitarian, I guess. And then this flipper that lines up with the end of the scales. Pretty interesting knife. S40B on all of these on this page, and all of them Taiwanese made. Ikuchi, the Ikuchi is one, probably the most gentleman-ish knife on this page. Sort of has the same vibes than like a Quaken from Lucas Burnley. And yeah, one interesting thing about this one is the hole, the spider hole lines up with this hole in the handle. Also runs on a compression lock, and yeah, a little bit of an upswept kind of pointy little thing. Very thin blade stock, so it should be slicey, I guess. Both of them look very slicey. This one as well, the Silver X. Really nice weight on this one as well. And very wide blade, so also should be a little bit thinner. I don't know how good the flipper tab does on if you cut like food on boards, but for EDC tasks, I guess it's a pretty nice blade shape as well. Who designed this, by the way? Paul Alexander. Okay, I don't know who Paul Alex. Oh, he designed both of them, Ikuchi and the Silvax. Yeah. I've never heard of him, but yeah, good designs on both of them, honestly. So on the next page we have the Spyderco Tropen. The Tropen is also one of those Spydercos that has really intense 3D contoured G10 handle scales. I like that. It feels amazing in hand. I never saw a reason to buy it though. It's not really my... I guess it's kind of my style of knife. It's a little bit more tactical and big, but I don't know. For some reason the design doesn't vibe with me, so yeah, never felt a reason to buy one, honestly. The next one I really like design-wise, the Spy Opera, made by Lion Steel. So it's a collaboration between Spyderco and Lion Steel. Sadly, they did a flat ground M390 blade, which I'm not a big fan of, in a tiny little slicier blade like this. Lion Steel is not the best at grinding knives thinly, and they're also not the best at heat treating M390. Like nobody knows how to heat treat M390 correctly, so yeah, I guess this is not my favorite part of the knife, the blade steel, but yeah, I like the micarta. I like the little gentleman vibes of that, and the wire pocket clip and the backlog. It's just beautiful. I think this is one of the most beautiful Spydercos that exists, but at the moment at least. Yeah, I would like to see it in a different blade steel. Would be really nice to check this one out. The Chaparral is also a compression lock. I heard some people complaining if you close the knife that the edge can cut you if you don't let go of the compression lock quickly enough. Really nice size to blade ratio and 3D contoured scales as well on this one though. So yeah, I guess not the best Spyderco design wise, but yeah, it looks very functional. The Spyderco Python. Well, we all know there can only be one true Spyderco integral knife, and it's actually by the same designer than the Python. Like the Python, it's made by Peter Risenti, who also designed the Spyderco Nirvana, an iconic Spyderco knife at this point. Sadly discontinued. Fans have been asking for it for a really long time. Maybe they will bring it back in the future, maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, the Nirvana was, I think, one of the first Spyderco integrals. So it's completely one piece of titanium. No inlay at this point when they were making it. And yeah, it has a really functional shape overall. And really nice long swedge, draw point blade, nice belly, good straight edge. Yeah, really solid design. Came in S90B steel. And the Python is, I think, also S90B steel. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think I like I don't just think. I know that I like the Nirvana better, visually wise, and yeah. So yeah, integral knife, very expensive. The Drunken one, also the Drunken one, the Drunken is also one of the more expensive Spydercos. Took a year or more to came out for this knife. I don't think it's a big seller, but it's also really expensive. Most people probably don't buy the really expensive Spydercos, but buy the mid-range Spydercos, so I guess that makes sense. A ton of milling in the carbon fiber. On this knife, the carbon fiber actually looks beautiful with the milling, and also on the flip side, we have a ton of milling done to it. So yeah, really a kind of a futuristic looking knife with at the same time very functional blade shape. This one is designed by Dimitri Sinkovich, who designed a ton of knives for zero tolerance. You probably already know him, so yeah, good design on this one. The Spyderco MacB and the Pochi. Let's talk about the MacB first. I don't think there's a reason why you should ever buy the MacB. It's tiny, expensive, and ugly. And then the Pochi is tiny, expensive, and even uglier. Let's watch a really quick video about the Pochi, because I want to show you some things that I can't show you in the pictures in the catalog. And yeah, the Pochi comes in with CPM S45 VN steel, because you will cut a ton of things with that tiny little blade, for sure. Yeah, so makes a lot of sense. Oh yeah, and there it is. It has a tail. And you may think, hey, this knife has such a small handle, so maybe this tail helps you to hold the knife a little bit better. But no, it's just supposed to look like a dog tail. Disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And if we fast forward, we can see the flip side. And yeah, there it is. On the flip side, we can see that it actually has whatever this is. Oh my god, it's so... I don't even have words to describe how ugly the Spyderco Pochi is and how useless it would be to buy this knife, honestly. I mean, beautiful anodizing on this side. Incredibly useless design. Who designed the Pochi? Okay, this guy. Crazy guy. No, absolutely not worth it to buy any of these knives. If you like small knives that actually cut things, well, the next knife is good for you. It's the Spyderco Chaparral or Chaparral, however you say that. Really nice knife, comes in a ton of versions. So we have FRN, carbon fiber, and then we have this Ruffian Noble, kind of a crazy handle material. And then we have Sun and Moon G10. So on one side it looks like this, on the other side it looks like this. And then we also have Bird's Eye Maple, yeah. So yeah, the Spyderco Chaparral, extremely solid small knife, CTS XHP blade steel, really thinly ground. I have mine for a lot of years. I'm not the biggest fan of small knives, but this one is one that I really like. And yeah, you have a lot of options in the handle material, which I like. I think it's it's just a solid knife, super lightweight. Kind of the corners are a little bit sharp on the backlock because it's so thinly constructed, but it also carries so well for that reason. It's not a fidget knife because of the backlock, because it's so tiny, but it's a user. If you like things that cut stuff, if you like knives that actually cut stuff, well, this is the knife for you. This is a crazy good slicer. And yeah, the Centofonte is in the Spyderco lineup for, it feels like a century. There must be a reason why it's in there. It's a no-nonsense design, I guess. Still made in Japan. Japan VG10 blade. Yeah, good stuff, I guess. Never tried one. Maybe one day I can check one out. I think this is a pinned construction as opposed to a screwed construction. So yeah, I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but talking about pinned and screwed construction, but Spyderco is going to make the screws on the Spyderco Manix lightweight in the future. So yeah, the lightweight Manix series is no longer going to be pinned. They're all going to be screwed, which I guess a lot of people will appreciate that. Yeah, and me too, honestly, because you can finally take the knife apart to clean, which I have honestly stopped to clean my knives. But yeah, it's still a good thing if a knife is not just pinned but screwed. I think it's a big advantage, actually. On the next page, we have the Cali 3.5. I think it's pretty good that this one has made a return to the Spyderco catalog. I'm not sure if they did it this year or last year for some reason. Nobody really talked about that. But yeah, comes in a composite blade, CDP 189 and 420 J2. So really hard steel in the middle and softer steel, more stable steel on the outside. And the Cali 3.5 is a really old Spyderco design. Show you some more pictures of the Cali 3.5. Yeah, so really nicely designed Spyderco. This one with the patina has probably super blue steel. They came in a bunch of steels like yeah, probably super blue. Yeah, CDP 189 and VG10 and super blue. Those were the kind of steels they made this knife in. And then this one, which looks like a bigger version of the Cali, is actually called the Calypso. And it also has a swedge on the spine, which is really nice, as opposed to the flat spine here. So yeah, really like this knife. Not sure if I will buy it, but yeah, I'll have to check the prices. And I think this one is also pinned, which is something I did never like about the Calis. Some of them did came screwed and some of them did came pinned. I'm not sure about that. No, they always came pinned. Yeah, again, screwed construction is just a tiny little bit nicer, honestly. And then we also have the Sage series, which I also like quite a bit. I like the Sage 5 lightweight with the compression lock. You also have the option of getting the liner lock version with max embed steel, so super high edge retention in a tiny little package. Pretty cool. And then this one with the carbon fiber. So this is the most inexpensive Sage though. And I wish they would offer it in more different versions, maybe more sprint runs. I think the Sage would make a really good knife for a sprint run. And these are also Taiwanese made, and the Cali is Japanese made. Yeah, now we dive into Ethnic series. On the first side, we have the Respect, which is Spyderco's version of a big Bowie knife with the full 8-inch blade, almost 8-inch blade. CPM 154 steel, good steel, really good steel actually. Really unusual Bowie knife design. You don't see that too often, but Spyderco is doing a lot of stuff really unusual. And this was designed by Saul Glasser. So yeah, I think it's just I just like the idea of Saul Glasser making a big old Bowie knife. It's pretty cool. Probably will not buy one. This is not my favorite Bowie knife designs, I have to say. But yeah, I do like the fact that they make it. So yeah. Next one is the Batu and the Patadis. The Batu is like an African-inspired design, I guess. Yeah, Central and Southern Africa. Yeah. I like it. I like the shape. I don't like the steel choice. CPM 20 CV in such a tiny little blade. I'm not sure if this really is necessary. But yeah, I like the shape of it. Same as with the Patadis. Again, not the greatest steel choice, but really nice design. The Patadis is sort of a smaller version of the Patata, which Spyderco has discontinued by now, which was the larger Patadis. And both of them are inspired by traditional Italian knife designs, which are these. They have a lot of belly in the back and then an aggressive tip and then this really nice handle shape. And these are inspired by those Italian traditional knives. So yeah, pretty cool that the Spyderco does something like this, I think it's a pretty good idea. I didn't like the knife as much before I knew the story behind it, so yeah. Now we dive in the Chinese-made Spyderco lineup. Tenacious, old news basically. We have seen the Tenacious a million amounts of times. The only thing that's really different in the value folders is that they made a lot more lightweight versions. Tenacious and the Resilience already had the lightweight version since last year, end of last year, and they also had the S45VN versions, which come in partially serrated and plain edge, and these also come in partially fully serrated. I don't know why it's not pictured in here, but the Resilience also has a fully serrated edge and the partially serrated edge available. And the Persistence got a lightweight version as well, which is not in the catalog yet, which is this one right here. The Persistence lightweight comes in black and satin version. Yeah, I don't really know how to say it, but I think the Spyderco Chinese models are not really worth the money. You can get a lot higher quality knives and also better materials for a little bit less. So these are in the like 60 to 70 euro range, and you just have to say it like it is. I mean, CBB has completely taken over this part, and a lot of other companies do really good knives at that price range as well. So yeah, I don't think these are worth the money. These are just for pure Spyderco lovers. So I guess I personally bought myself a Resilience lightweight too. I just always wanted to check out the Resilience. Yeah, I really like the blade shape. It's a good knife, but yeah, it's 8C or 13 MOV, not a crazy amount of edge retention, not the best quality, inexpensive built line lock knife made in China. There's nothing special about these knives. I think Spyderco does a lot better in the mid-range price section than in the more inexpensive price section. So yeah, I don't think the Spyderco Chinese made stuff are bad designed, but they're not worth the money. So they're not really the value folders, honestly. But yeah, that's just my opinion about these. I've never seen those little guys in real life. They're pretty rare, at least where I am from. So yeah, but the Tenacious, Resilience, this is all old stuff. Now, these guys have been around for a while now as well. I'm not sure, maybe you have a different opinion about this, but I think the clippy tools are not good sellers for Spyderco, really. I've never seen anybody carrying these. I like the idea though. The clippy tools are basically there are newer versions of the Spyderco Diad, which is this one. This one is discontinued a long time ago now. Has this really a nice utility kind of fully serrated blade shape and this aggressive Persian style blade shape on the other side, and had actually two backlocks, which this one is just a slip joint, I guess. Yeah. And yeah, I like the idea of these. I have to check them out at some point. I think the idea is pretty cool, but I don't think a lot of people have them and use them. Same as with these ones, the little keychain knives. But yeah, nice idea for Spyderco to make a multi-tool kind of knife. Yeah, the non-locking stuff. Spyderco is really underrated at making knives that are legal pretty much anywhere. They do a lot of those things now. The little native has a slip joint now. I think they also make a little native with a lightweight version with a lightweight version also, which is not in the catalog as well. So they really seem to put a lot of effort in the little native or native series in general. They have the native chief, they have the normal native, then have little native, non-locking, compression, backlock. They have all the natives basically now. So yeah, a lot of effort put in the native series. Spyderco seems to like it, and yeah, the UK pen knife, really solid knife. I bought my UK pen knife years ago on a secondary market for $40, and just a great knife for the money. CTS BD1 end steel, Good steel, basic steel, easy to resharpen, takes a good edge. Also, they offer a version of S110V. This is also something really underrated. Is there are a lot of countries that have really strict restrictions, and making the harder steels, the higher edge retention steels for those countries as well is a kind of a gap in the market still. So yeah, I do like that Spyderco is putting S110, and they also make the UK pen off in LC200N now. So yeah, good stuff. The Urban has N690 steel, which is kind of interesting that they use a different steel on this one. These are made in Italy, and then the pen knives are made in the United States. So yeah. The Squeak, also made in Italy, also N690 steel. Don't know which maker makes the Squeak. Maybe Fox Knives, I don't know. The Rhodey, I think the Rhodey was designed to be carried on planes, but kind of is not legal anymore on planes. But yeah, also a very, very widely legal knife as well. Doghead folders are kind of useless, I would say, for the price. These run you about 100 euros, I think. Yeah, would never pay the money for this kind of Spyderco, honestly. Spyderco Buck, yeah, great little keychain knife. The Grasshopper and the Honeybee is the mid-size. So yeah, 3 different size ranges basically. What's the steel on these guys, by the way? 12C27, yeah. Easy to resharpen, solid steel. The small one has 3CR13. Okay, just the Grasshopper has 12C27. Okay, I see. And then we also have the same knives with the same steels in a stainless version. And these are Chinese made. Now we dive in the fixed blades, and then we actually are done with the catalog. Oh, actually I forgot one more knife. The Spyderco Urban is also having a version which is not in the catalog, which is called the Urban Ivory G10 Dama steel blade. Pretty nice. So yeah, really good looking. I like the Ivory G10. I like the Dama steel. The only thing I don't like about it is the price, which honestly, this one is for the collectors. If you buy a knife to use it, buy the inexpensive N690 version, it's gonna be just fine. I would never see a reason to buy this, but it's cool that it exists. But yeah, completely useless, honestly. Hope I don't... Actually, I don't care if somebody doesn't like what I say, but yeah, that's just my opinion. Now the fixed blades. Let's go through this really quick so we don't take too long. The nightstick, solid, symmetrical blade and handle, I guess, except from the hole. Actually, it's not that symmetrical because it's only single-edged. Dagger style. Nice size, nice weight. Yeah, tactical knife for sure. Bow ribber. Inexpensive, good hunting knife. I have a couple of friends that own this. Doesn't cost much. This is one of the value knives that Spyderco actually makes. So this fixed blade right here, not the Tenacious anymore. It used to be, but not anymore. This one is one of the value knives, not folders, but value knives. The Sumer, I don't have and I've never handled the Sumer. I guess it's full tang. Looks like a really comfortable handle scale. 20 CV steel, pretty useless on a fixed blade. Again, interesting kind of sheath setup. Not really pretty. Yeah, Spyderco makes some weird fixed blades, really. The Moran, I don't really like visually. The Enough is something that I really, really like. I think they have a salt version of the Enough as well, which we're gonna see later. I have 3 different blade shapes. Spyderco said that they would come out with a bigger Enough last year, but they never did. I'm not sure what's going on there. Hopefully they come out this year with the bigger Enough. This one is a tiny little knife, but looks sort of really practical, to be honest. Yeah, this would be a great EDC Spyderco fixed blade. Yeah, I would really like to check this out. The Enough is pretty cool. So, and then we have the Spyderco Street Bowie and Street Beat. I like the custom versions of the Street Bowie better than this one. I actually own this one. It's not the greatest cutter of all time. VG10 blade, made in Seki City, Japan. Nice lightweight though for the size, but also with the lack of weight, it comes with lack of cutting performance. Yeah, Spyderco makes good designs in the fixed blades, but not the best executions. Yeah, I wish this would be a little bit more higher quality or a little bit slicier, I guess. I don't know, they also make it in a small version. And these are designed by Fred Perrin, who is a French knife maker. Yeah. The Ronin is one of Michael Yannick's fixed blade tactical knives. You can see in the blade shape, same blade shape than on the Yojimbo family. Great effective tactical knife. And then we have the Swig, which is also kind of a tactical knife, pretty good looking. Never seen one in real life though. The Arc, kind of a tiny little knife. Not sure if this would be super practical. The Waterway, however, which is designed by Lance Clinton, which is the kayak guy who designed the Siren, is a pretty good looking knife and a pretty slicey knife as well. So if you have a lot to do with fish and gutting fish and in general fishing, well, the Waterway would be a great way to go. LC200N on this one. Then we have the Aqua Salt. Yeah, these are diving knives. Shout out to Spyderco actually for doing for giving customers a lot of options in diving knives and in the Salt series. It's just you have a lot of things to choose here, and these look like really effective cutting tools as well. Especially the Fish Hunter here. Man, this is a menacing blade shape, but yeah. And we also have enough in LC200N, but I think only in... No, it's actually H1 steel, but only in serrations, yeah. So pretty stainless steel, not great edge retention, yeah. Yeah, and then we only have the throwing knives and the Warrior Hawk and Hatchet Hawk. I don't like the Spyderco Hawks, honestly. I think they're better tactical Hawks and camping Hawks. Yeah, Spyderco is not the best at doing those kinds of things. And we have the Kitchen series. These ones are new, I think. Especially with the CTS BD1N steel. These one came out this year. And yeah, I guess they look like they are pretty effective. 1.5 millimeter blade stock thickness on most of these. They look pretty slicey. Japanese style, Japanese design. Yeah, they look pretty slicey. And also made in Japan, which same as this one, which are the same knives basically with super blue steel and SUS 410. So not a stainless steel super blue, but very high edge retention, and then the SUS 410 on the outside for toughness. And then these little kitchen knives I don't really like. I think they're a little bit cheap, and yeah, I don't like all of these knives honestly that come after this. These, especially the bird knives. I don't see a reason to buy a bird knife, honestly. I mean, they make it in a ton of different versions. You have sort of the same Endura style, Delica style blades. But yeah, if you wanted to check out the Spyderco, buy a mid-range Spyderco. That's where they are really best at. That's the best price range. You get the best performance out of the knives in the mid-range Spyderco series. So yeah. I don't have a lot of things to say about the bird series other than I would probably never buy one. Yeah, just don't like them visually. So yeah, and that's basically it. That's the Spyderco catalog. We only have 2 more knives that are not in the catalog. By the way, Spyderco Sharpmaker, one of the greatest sharpening systems of all times in my opinion. But yeah, the 2 knives that are not in the catalog are the Spyderco Mule in SRS 13 and SUS 405. Which is a super hard high vanadium steel in the middle. I think it's high vanadium actually. Not too sure about that. Yeah, molybdenum and vanadium and tungsten in it. So really high edge retention. And then we have the SUS 405, excuse me, which is pretty tough on the outside. So the Mule comes in a composite blade. Yeah, pretty interesting. And then one more knife that's also not in the catalog, which is the Spyderco Stovepipe. This knife, really good customer feedback, I guess, from the Spyderco fanboys and girls. The Stovepipe just looks good, has a lot of those, I don't know how can you explain it? Old school vibes, like really big steampunk vibes in the handle and also on the blade. Wardenclyffe, hollow ground, CPM 20 CV blade, full titanium handle scales and pocket clip, over travel stop with the pivot right here. Kind of a weird angle looking, a handle with a lot of angles, I guess, but it's nice and rounded on the scale, so it's not too sharp as I've heard on the corners. Don't know because I don't have held one in hand yet. It's super new basically. And this one is a production version of the custom maker that owns Kingdom Armory, and they do stuff like this right here. So you can see the similarities there. Yeah, pretty cool that Spyderco made a version of these. I think they make really good looking Wardenclyffes and sheepfoot blades. Yeah, look at this one. This one is just beautiful. Extremely beautiful knife. And the next one as well. Really beautiful lines on these. I wish Spyderco would have done the production version of this one. This one is even more beautiful than a stovepipe. But yeah, pretty cool knife. Pretty expensive as well. Taiwanese made, so high quality. Yeah, let's see how it is in real life. But I think it's gonna be pretty good. So yeah, people, that's it for my Spyderco catalog walkthrough. It took a really long time to make these videos because Spyderco has just so many things to offer. Let's see if you look at some other stuff from other companies that came out this year. But yeah, I just always wanted to do this, and I hope you guys found it interesting and not too long. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye, people.